Big Sills, National Football Show. Welcome aboard. Thank you very much. It is Cowboy Eagle Week. Let me bury the lead here on this program. The Eagles are winning on Saturday. You're winning Saturday. Act like it. You're winning. The Cowboys are overhyped. Their defensive player of the year is overhyped. Their owner is overhyped. The whole freaking organization is overhyped. Take care of business. Don't turn the ball over, and you win the game. Guys, I'm more concerned about the 49ers. The Cowboys? Really? Act like a 13-1 team, will you please? But Sills, our MVP went down. And you're still dynamic across the fronts. Now, do I think this game is close Saturday? Absolutely. 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 I will say this to you. The MVP race is officially over for Jalen Hurts. And you shouldn't be heartbroken about that. This is not about an individual award. This is about a team award. This is about the Lombardi Trophy. This is about hoisting something that generations of Eagle fans waited years and decades for 2017. An MVP award? Give me a break, dude. It's a doorstop. It's a doorstop on the way to what you truly want to achieve. A Super Bowl, world champions. Act like it. I don't give a shit about the MVP award for Jalen. Has he played MVP ball? Duh. Welcome to the world, folks. Hey, and that notion of sitting people for the Cowboy game, kiss my ass. Go beat them dudes. You got them. They're going to think you guys are going to melt down on Saturday because Hurts is not there. I'll tell you this, man. That were me, I am going to hit Dak Prescott so many times, he's going to piss blood. Jeremy, today is my birthday. Needing my birds to come together this Saturday for a big win. Clinch it all. Don't care about individual awards. We want a Super Bowl. Amen. Amen. Here, I want to reiterate one more thing about my concerns about your coaching staff. Okay? I 150% blame the Philadelphia Eagle management team and the coaching staff for that guy missing this Saturday's game against the Dallas Cowboys. I was listening to the press conference with both Hurts and Nick Sirianni today. The Eagle offensive coordinator, Shane Steichen, and Nick Sirianni, folks, they don't have a game plan. They have a rescue plan. So if the passes aren't there, Jalen has the autonomy to run. Well, he's going to. That's not a game plan. That's a rescue plan. Rescuing them from a poor pass play. And as I reemphasize this to you, you run the guy. Do you know that Miles Sanders, happy birthday, my friend Jeremy, happy birthday. Do you know Miles Sanders has 58 more carries than Jalen Hurts this year? 58. 58. not over for the Eagles. It's just beginning. That coaching staff and the media, boy, I'll tell you, the soft-ass media asking the questions to the coach and to Jalen Hurts, you people ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Why not a simple question? Nick, it's the 31st worst rushing defense in the league. You've got the second best back in the NFC, averaging 5.2 a carry. You've got the Cowboy game looming. Why would you run your quarterback more in a game that's versus a 3-win Chicago Bear team? Why? Dude, when you have a dual threat quarterback, you have to have these guys more on a pitch count. Some of you say, well, RG3, Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick, Kyler Murray. There is a litany of examples. Cam Newton. You know why Cam lasted longer than the other guys? Because he actually could throw the ball better. Man, I tell you, this was inevitable. Dual threat quarterbacks do not last. They never will in this league. Jalen's not different. He's a great kid. Don't let that cloud your evaluation of how he plays the position. RG3 was the rookie of the year. Blew his knee out. It was done. By the way, that injury in Chicago, you're lucky. You know how they always talk about the big one in NASCAR? The big wreck? The big one's coming. It's a matter of time. The big one's coming. What you're trying to... Hey, Sills, how come you never say that about Josh Allen? Okay, well, since I have to put an addendum in there to some people who want to add race to a conversation, the big one's coming in Buffalo, too. Oh, you bet your ass he's not going to be excluded. Andrew Luck wasn't. He won't be. Dude, he's got a calendar date, too, with the catastrophic knee injury. Oh, there's a due date for him in Buffalo. Unless they figure it out. Now, that's right, JM. Allen could probably stick around in the game because he relies on that laser arm of his. And you know what's funny? Here, watch this. I think Jalen would figure it out. Even if he got hurt and he wasn't able to run as much, I think he'd figure it out. This is crazy. How I have to sit here. This is the worst freaking take I've ever had on a player. And what I don't like about it, it's a take I wish didn't happen. And I wish you guys would hammer me. Sills, he's indestructible. Sills, he's a 600-pound squatter. Sills, he doesn't get hit. I wish you guys could hammer me on that. But it was a matter of time. Jalen Hurts does not get a long-term contract. He does not get a long-term contract. He gets a short-term contract. Then we'll go from there. Not because the kid's not great. Not because the kid hasn't improved. Not because the kid's not shown everybody. By the way, here's the topic. Watch this. Has Hurts won his future in Philly? Yeah. Don't you think Hurts has won his future in Philly? Now, what that price tag is, I don't know. But the one thing that Jalen Hurts has done this year, for me, he's won his future. He's won his future. I have no idea what that price tag is, but it's not for a long contract. If Gardner Minshew goes out and throws for 400 yards, Jalen Hurts is my future, not anything else. Hurts has won his future. He has. He's accomplished that. By the way, don't concern yourself with I have the MVP for my vote and the top 10 NFL teams. I didn't get a chance because of the breaking news. By the way, Jimmy Johnson will join us at the bottom of the hour. And we'll talk to the NFL on Fox's Jimmy Johnson, Pro Football Hall of Famer, about Eagles and Cowboys. Hurts has won his future. But that future's not long. Okay? I give him a 3-year contract. That's it. If Clutch doesn't like that, I'm not putting $50 million, $45 million around a guy who it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. He relies on his wheels and his arm to win games. And the Eagle coaches have done a poor job at managing that. Dude, this guy's going to have 200 carries this year. 200 carries? Are you okay with that? Are you really okay with a running back quarterback who happens to throw it above average? Well above average. Are you okay with he's got the most rushing touchdowns in the last 2 years? That stat sucks. I was telling you yesterday with the Bears crowing about Justin Fields being the third back quarterback to get 1,000 yards. That's a horrific accomplishment. Horrific. Why? Well, he ended up in the tent. You know, usually when you do something great at the quarterback position, you don't end up in the injury tent because of it. Darryl goes, well, he passed more this year. Yeah, he ran the ball more than a year ago, though. I thought we were trying to get away from that. You see, they don't have a game plan. They have a rescue plan. This is 90% Jalen Hurts, 10% Shane Steichen. Those coaches aren't that good over there. This is on Jalen. Jalen carries the offensive coaches. Stoutland's the best coach on the offensive side. The rest of them guys don't have a game plan. It's a rescue plan. When the pass, what does he say? Sirianni has said this 100 times. Hey, when it breaks down, take off running. That's not a game plan. That's a rescue plan. You're not creative enough to come up with plays for Miles Sanders versus a shitty Bears team. You know who made that game close? The coaches. Players dominated. Defense killed. I mean, you held the team under 250 yards of total offense. I don't know what else to say. The scoreboard was on the coaches. Nobody in Philly will say it. I find that unreal. That at a press conference with an MVP candidate, and by the way, stop that shit. You think the Philadelphia Eagles would have held Jalen Hurts out of a Dallas Cowboys game where this was going to be his coming out party so the whole nation could see him play and all the great things that Howie has done this year? Don't you think Howie wants to show everybody what he's done this year and put it on display? Don't you think that? The Cowboy game is just not another game. That's why they need to bring in Frank. That coaching staff got that kid hurt. Thank you, Jeremy. They got him hurt. No other excuse. Sills, it's pro football and guys get hurt. Yeah, but what you try to do, especially when you have a dual threat quarterback, you've got to have design. See, again, I understand that as well as anybody. Guys get hurt in the NFL. But dude, when I have a 1,200-yard back who's at 5.2 a carry versus the shittiest run defense, it doesn't make sense unless there's politics being played in the front office. Why wouldn't you let that horse out of the barn? TK goes 2017 vibes. Here's why Jalen Hurts won't win the MVP. TK, you lead me there. Wentz missed the last 2 games, cost him. And he was the runaway MVP that year. Same thing with Jalen. But it's not runaway, but he won't win it either. Just not going to happen. It's okay, though. You need that guy, and we need that guy for the postseason. A doorstop award, like the MVP award, versus the most coveted trophy in American sports, the Super Bowl Lombardi Trophy. Come on, man. Put your priorities in order here. Put your priorities in order. MVP, Lombardi. I mean, right. Do I have to continue that? If he can, he was going to have a monster game in Dallas. I think he's been waiting for that game his entire life. Can I tell you what that game means? And it's the take of they wouldn't have played him on Saturday. I don't get it because you know why? Xander, you can help me out and make sure that I'm being historically accurate. Dude, when that guy's taken out of the national championship game, no player forgets that moment. It's embarrassing. Was a freshman. He was the Southeastern Conference Player of the Year. And he gets yanked in front of the world. He was going to be in front of the world on Saturday. Don't you think in the back of his mind, every guy, it's not ego, it's about this. Justice, karma, doubters, throwing another log on the fire. See, I told you so. That was going to be an I told you so game for Jalen. I told you so. That's what that was going to be for him. And you think the Eagles were going to deny him that? Nick Sirianni, with the emotions and passions that he has, he was not going to deny him that. I feel for the kid. Playing as good a ball as you can imagine. And as I said, Cowboy fans, I don't care what you think. Whether it's Gardner Minshew or Jalen Hurts, you ain't winning that game Saturday. Those Eagle guys are going to be motivated. The Dallas Chernobyls are frauds. From their lame-ass wideout CeeDee Lamb to their overhyped pass rusher and Micah Parsons, there's not a GD thing on that team that's not overhyped, including the owner. Jeff goes, Hurts is playing. I think he would. Jeff, it's a playoff game. I think he plays. And I think if it's a Sunday game, he may play. M. Reyes goes, Jalen will play. Dude, like I said, this is not a ruse where you're trying to pull the wool over the Cowboys' eyes. You hold the cards. You're Mike Tyson. Think Mike Tyson goes in going, yeah, I hurt my left arm, and, I don't know if I'm going to be able to throw my jab and such, and, he's only fooling. Mike Tyson goes like this, I'm going to eat your children. You're going to wish you never were born. I want to be that guy instead of this guy. Hey, guess what? We're playing a rouge on you, man. We may not play our MVP. How soft is that? I would, in my opinion, if that were true, the Eagles, man, they're soft. Anybody who believes that shit is soft. You're a snowflake. I want to fight the heavyweight champion of the world. Think I want to fight tomato cans all day? I've been kicking your ass all year long about the shitty teams you've played. Okay? You got the Cowboys Saturday. Act like it. Just the Dallas Cowboys. Kick their ass. He'll probably play Saturday. Not happening, Joseph. I watched it. Wishful thinking. I think he's probably going to miss the New Orleans game. Oh, and if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I pray he plays because I may see that team in the playoffs. I'm going to put a hat on that shoulder every chance I get. I'm going to put a hat on him. I'm going to take penalties on him. And when he takes off running like a running back, I'm going to decapitate him. That's what the Cowboys would be thinking. They hope he plays. The worst thing you can have happen is that guy plays and gets knocked out of the game. Look at Mask. That's dirty. What's wrong with you, dude? What do you think this is about, cashing paychecks and kissing cheerleaders? It's the NFL, dude. Guys make millions of dollars a game. That's dirty. Welcome to the league, son. Must have missed Barrett Brooks today talking the way he was talking too. If Barrett was playing in that football game on Sunday, he'd be looking to take Michael Parsons out any way he could. I loved it. I loved it. Hurts has won his future. Short term. Nothing over 3 years would I ever offer Jalen Hurts. Nothing over 3 years. Nothing. I don't mind the 46 now. But nothing over 3. I'm not putting an anchor around my team's neck for a guy who's now in consecutive years missed games and hurt. Sorry, I'm not. Some of you will go like this. Jesus, Sills. Sorry, this is business. Nothing personal. You don't want to hear it. I'm not giving that guy a 5-year contract. Not happening. Now it's even more slam dunk. Ain't no 5-year contract in the future of Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. We'll do 3-year deals. By the way, Clutch Sports will go for it. You know why? Market changes. Salary cap goes up. If Jalen keeps playing, he'll play himself into being a $50 million player. You won't have to worry about it. Wouldn't you rather have more negotiating power every 3 years than every 7 years? Why would you want to get into a contract like Mahomes? You know Mahomes' contract is almost outdated now. He signed a 10-year contract. The market has gone up. In 3 years, that Mahomes deal will look dumb at $42 million. Look dumb. Lane Johnson didn't shut down Michael Parsons the last time. I don't know what you were seeing, Texas boy. but I saw him stuff him in a box. The guy he got pressure on was Jack Driscoll. I didn't see Michael Parsons getting to Jalen Hurts the last time. That is not true. And when I went back and watched the two, that's not what I saw. This is one of those games where you better have your chin strap on. This is one of those games that my coach used to tell me this. You know the greatest thing about Coach Jimmy Johnson's speeches? By the way, his book over there, Swagger. Pick it up. It's a great Christmas item. JJ's speeches going out onto the field to play and out to the battlefield, they were Monday through Friday. The Saturday and Sunday things, Coach just reminded us, don't be the dumbest guy on the field. He knew he had guys making great, spectacular plays. He goes, but don't make the dumb one. Don't be the dumb guy. You're all sitting around going, hey, man. Jimmy's speeches were constantly motivating. Coach Johnson, I don't ever remember in my 3 years at ever hearing something shitty from that coach and that staff. But you know what they did? They came to you, reminded you, there's 10 deep behind you. Let's bring in my coach, Jimmy Johnson from Fox. Coach, right? I mean, your work was Monday through Friday, right? The Saturday and Sunday stuff, you just reminded us, don't be the dumbest guy in the building.
Yeah, you just got to make sure everybody prepares themselves. And so any type of motivation's got to be during the week when you're practicing. Everybody likes to play. Game day, please just put you guys out on the field and let you win the ball games. But, I actually talked on a show yesterday, and I was talking about Dan Campbell. I said, Dan Campbell, has taken that football team with Detroit, and he's given them toughness, and he's motivated that team. And I said, listen, everybody says they're making millions of dollars. They ought to be self-motivated. Well, that's BS. Everybody needs to be motivated, but the ones that really need to be motivated are the bottom half of the roster. The top 10 or 15 guys, they're going to go out there and play hard. But then you got about 40 guys, they're not real sure. And so you've got to make sure that they practice hard, they prepare themselves, they do what they've got to do to get ready for the ball game. They're the ones you've got to motivate. And that's what Dan Campbell's done with the Detroit Lions. He's made that team better and better and better as the last couple of years. They're a good football team now.
They absolutely are. And talked to Chris Spielman the other day, Coach, and there's just a really great vibe in that building now. Coach, I want to throw this at you here, and I've been harping on this thing with these dual threat guys. Go back to RG3, hell, even Michael Vick. Lamar Jackson, this will be the third year in a row that he's missed games, critical games that are seeding-wise for the AFC. And now you have Hurts. This is the second year now, and he's probably going to miss 2 games coming up here. Can you win a Super Bowl, Coach, and build a roster around a dual threat quarterback?
Well, I think it's going to be difficult because, like you say, they're going to get hurt. You look at the quarterbacks with the most consistency over the last, 30 or 40 years, it's been the drop back passer. Now, the Lamar Jacksons, the Hurts, the running quarterbacks, they're exciting and they can win a lot of games because most defenses, they don't prepare for some of that stuff. And so, it gives the offense a little bit of an edge when you have that 11th player that's unblocked. I mean, that they don't account for, he's running with the football. And so it gives the offense an edge, but it's very difficult to keep that quarterback healthy for the entire season.
Coach, are the Eagles the best team in the NFL, or do they have the best record? And I know that sounds contradicting because you kind of are who you are. But when I watch San Francisco, Coach, man, those linebackers, Nick Bosa, right, Trent Williams. I mean, I know they're a headless horseman at quarterback, but they're getting it done like you guys did. I think it was the year Aikman got injured. You guys put Steve Berline in. I mean, you guys won games that way. I mean, tell me, what's your take on the Eagles?
I think it would be a heck of a contest if we happen to see that. The 49ers have a fantastic defense. I went up to the Dolphin practice during training camp, and I watched them work against the Philadelphia Eagles. And I walked away so impressed with not only the starting offensive and defensive line, but the backup defense and offensive line. They really have a lot of depth in their line, and they have some great players. They have some older players, they're on defense, but they rotate them around to where they keep them fresh. So, and with the 49ers, their front four, they're going to put so much pressure on the passer, and they can play all kinds of coverages. And so I think it would be a heck of a contest if all their players are healthy. And then, of course, Brock Purdy, he's got to keep protecting the football as well.
Coach, I watched this game this weekend and all the hype being put around, especially with Dak. Coach, I know you're a believer in winning in the postseason and winning the big games, Oklahoma games, the Eagle games, the Super Bowl games, the playoff games. Coach, how big a game is this for Dak Prescott on Saturday? I mean, Coach, he's getting paid a lot, but
right?
The postseason production, it's not there. He's got to win significant games, doesn't he?
I think not only for Dak, I think for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, you look at the last 25 years, they haven't been to an NFC championship game. And so, playoff success is what you're looking for. And, everybody knew it's a very talented roster. Their roster is as talented as anybody in the league. But for some reason or another, they always have that critical mistake in a big ball game. They always have some slip-ups. They turn the ball over, or they have a bunch of penalties, or they have a snafu like not handing the football to the referee, in the playoffs. And so if you look at the talent, if they play as well as what their talent says they are, hey, they can win it all. But in some of the big ball games, especially the playoffs, they haven't performed. And so the success of the Dallas Cowboys will be determined by how much success they have in the playoffs.
A couple last questions for Coach Johnson. Coach, I told people and I was telling Phil Simms this the other day. I said, Coach Johnson didn't mind us talking trash during the week. But, boy, I'll tell you something. If we didn't deliver it, he was in our ass going, hey, man, receipts have to be cashed in and checks have to be cashed. And Jerome and I would always look at each other going, hey, you know what, man, you think we should taper it down? He goes, he hasn't said anything to us yet. But when I watch Micah Parsons, I mean, Coach, the kid forgot to get off the bus for the Jacksonville game, and the pass rush has been vaporized the last 2 weeks. I mean, They keep telling me he's Lawrence Taylor. Well, I kind of see it sometimes. Give me your take on him. I mean, Pat Swilling was consistent. I just don't see the consistency with the guy.
Well, you haven't seen it here lately. Obviously he was fantastic last year and for the most part, most of the early season. But teams are scheming against him.
Okay.
Teams are obviously, they're doubling, they're sliding, their protection, they're chipping him. They know where he's lined up.
You think they're wearing him down, Coach?
They could be wearing him down. I think he was a little banged up as well. And then there was a couple of games where they played him off the line of scrimmage. And they didn't have him rushing. They had him playing as an inside linebacker. Now, he's fine as an inside linebacker if he's rushing the passer. But if he's dropping in the coverage, you're taking away a great pass rusher. So I think the scheme has hurt him a little bit. Like you say, he may be wearing down just a little bit. He's still a great, great talent, though.
Finally here, Coach. The MVP, if you were to give it, I know there's still some football left, so it's probably, I think it's a 3-horse race, and if Jalen doesn't play this weekend, I think that kind of like Wentz in 17 probably takes him out of the picture. It's Burrow, Mahomes, and Hurts. In your opinion, who's the leader going into Week 16?
I've got to go with Patrick Mahomes. You look at it with Hurts, a lot of the scheme, their surrounding talent, has a lot to do with it. Obviously, he's had a fantastic year. The injury may set him back just a little bit. Burrow had a little bit of a slow start, and he's coming on strong right now. As far as a pure talent, maybe I go with Joe Burrow, but Patrick Mahomes is phenomenal. He does some things that no other player on planet Earth can do. He is fun to watch, and you thought he might take a step back when Tyreek Hill, went to the Dolphins, but please, he's putting up numbers and he's still winning football games. Now, occasionally he'll go out there and he'll throw a couple of interceptions, but he is so good he can overcome those interceptions.
Coach, the book reminded me of Coach Johnson. The guy I see on TV now is not really Jimmy Johnson. So I know that, you're kind of settled down now. I think being away from coaching has actually been the greatest thing in your life. But reading the book, I remember when I transferred there, and I'm sitting there, and I remember you looking at me going like this after you watched me a couple practices, and you knew I could play. You went, "Hey, I'm just going to tell you one thing here. I don't need you. Make me want you." And I was like, "Yes, sir, man." And I'll tell you what, Coach, reading the Swagger book, man, it just reminded me every single day on what the commitment to excellence was. It's really a great read.
Well, I appreciate it, Dan. And it was a pleasure coaching you. At times you were on the edge. And at times you made me really nervous, but as far as stepping on the field and playing, I knew I could always count on you. So, like I said, it was a pleasure coaching you. Like I said, but you made me nervous for a few years.
I'll tell you this too, Coach. I told Dave Wannstedt this 2 days ago. You know what's great about your coaching staff? You guys are the same people when I was 19 years old that you are today to me. Butch sent me a happy. I know I'm not going to wish you happy holidays, Coach, because I know that Santa guy. Hey, wait a minute. I know that Santa guy. Me and Aikman were talking about it. The Santa guy, I know all about that dude too, man. So Dave wished me happy holidays. And I told Dave, I go, that staff was so driven, but you know what? You guys are the same dudes that you were then that you are today. It's a true testament to the people you had around you.
Well, we enjoyed each other. We really had great love for one another. And we love winning football games, and that's what we did.
Absolutely. Coach, have a great rest of the week.
I got you, Dan. Good talking with you.
You bet. Jimmy Johnson, NFL on Fox. God, did I love playing for that man. He was just absolutely great. By the way, Swagger, the book, make sure you get the book, too. It's a great Christmas item there for you, too. So, see, I'll tell you, hey, Xander, see, I was a handful. Great player, but a handful. Holy cow. It's a great compliment from Jimmy. Thank you very much, Coach. It was a privilege to coach Big Sills. We got Michael Irvin tomorrow, too. I know some of you guys are going, what about the Eagle guys? Don't worry, I'm working on Seth. I'm working on Seth. Eagles. Hey, the Eagles, you think they should wear their all-black uniforms on Christmas Eve? Oh man, I'd want to, you know what? I'd want to be Darth Vader. I'd want to be Darth Vader. I think the Eagles are going to win. Hey, Jimmy kind of danced around it. I don't think he thinks you can win with a dual threat quarterback. He goes, because they're going to get hurt. I know they're going to get hurt. And Dan never played it down in his life. He was my favorite equipment manager. Funny. Well done, Vlad. Jalen Hurts is no longer your MVP. Move on from it. Here's what's happened. So far, after 14 games, Jalen's won his future, a short-term future. The Eagles have to do a better job of coaching him. Personally, my biggest question now about the Philadelphia Eagles, not the team, it's your coaching staff again. It's your coaching staff. Your coaching staff is not as good as the 17 staff. Absolutely not. Your 2017 staff was the reason that they put all the chess pieces in the right place on the board. I don't believe in this coaching staff. I think it's too inexperienced. Get this. You know what one of my topics was going to be? One of my topics was going to be, you think Jalen's got too little experience to play in the postseason? Not him. It's the coaches. I think the coaches have too much inexperience. Jesse, Seals, you think the Eagles bring in Reich? Why don't we ask him when I take one of the timeouts? Because you know what? If I was Nick Sirianni, and can I tell you, if I was Howie Roseman about Frank Reich, I would call Frank and get his opinions on playing backup quarterbacks. Why wouldn't you use that asset? You know, Frank Reich has a contract with the Colts until 26. He's going to make $9 million a year until 26. Frank is, right now, he's got FU money. He don't need a job. But being a consultant for an organization he loves the Eagles. Hey, Frank, what was the first thing you did with Foles after Wentz went down? You know what Frank told me? The number one thing they did? Making sure the same routine in the building at the NovaCare Center, nothing changed. Nobody panicked. Nobody was talking doom and gloom. It was next dude up. He says that during that week when Wentz went down after the Rams game, there were people in the building that were wobbling. Front office too. But there was an air of confidence that Doug Peterson and Frank Reich were exuding to the team in 17. Hey, we were backups. Remember what Frank did? Frank engineered the greatest comeback in playoff history when he was on that Bills team when they beat the Oilers. He was also on the greatest comeback in the history of college football against us, Maryland versus Miami. He was also with Doug Peterson. Doug was a backup. Those guys calmed the room. I think Gardner Minshew is going to pick it right up right where Nick Foles dropped it for the next backup quarterback to get his shot. You got to remember something about Foles. Foles went in there. He was a Pro Bowl guy, experienced. Minshew's experienced. Gardner's got an audition this weekend. This guy's going to be playing at the Metropolitan Opera. He's going to have 31 suitors, potentially, that are going to be looking for a quarterback in some aspect, backup or starter. Okay? How far would that go? You wouldn't look at him in the same light as Nick Foles, but what if that guy beats Dallas? It'd be the second backup quarterback story in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles. Then you can buy into your coaches. They didn't panic. That was the worst game plan I have ever seen in Chicago. I lost all faith in them because not only did you get your quarterback killed, it was not needed. I feel completely comfortable with Gardner Minshew starting this game against the Dallas Cowboys. Not a problem. Dallas is favored by 6. Where? Dak Prescott? Dak Prescott has so much freaking pressure on him Saturday night. I think he's going to melt like a piece of butter in a frying pan. This guy has done shit since he fell on his wallet when they gave him that gigantic contract. He has done nothing. I gave a guy 75 freaking million bucks last year for Ungats. Those Italians out there will know what that means. I have got nothing in return. $75 million. Act like it. Hey, that guy in Arizona, he's a bum. Dak Prescott, you don't win that game on Saturday and win out, I don't know. I think you're holding the Cowboys back. What, if not now, Dak, when? That's why the Eagles are playing. Watch this. Eagles are really actually playing with house money. You're 13-1. You drop that game, you're still in the same position. Remember, this is what I was telling you guys about the Bills. The Bills are sitting in the one hole. You keep talking to me about Josh Allen interceptions. Who gives a shit? They're in the one hole. Jalen's hurt. You're still in the one hole. Relax. The NFL is not a sprint. It's a marathon. Seals Gardner Minshew looked horrible in the game. They brung him in. When we sat starters this year, be a completely different deal. This guy's going to be amped up and juiced up. Dude, Miles Sanders is better than Zeke and Pollard combined. He's the number one back in the NFC East, and I predicted that. That when everything was said and done. Now, if the stupid-ass coaches would give him the freaking ball, dude, we're not talking about a guy with 1,100 yards with 3.9 per carry. He's 5'2". That Bear game should have had 80 carries. Jalen with 2. And the game should have been over after 15 minutes. Instead, they threw the ball. And someone goes like this today. Well, they were having success throwing the ball. That's not the point. Throwing the ball kept the Bears in the game. Running the ball takes the Bears out of the game. That's not the point. You'd have ran the Bears off the scoreboard. Slowly, methodically. Hey, I think the Eagle coaching staff, I think they lose their poise and patience. And I think it's because of that head coach's personality. He's not very patient of a coach. And the coolest guy on the sidelines, the quarterback. The head coach is worried about screaming and saying shit in the stands and stuff and wearing T-shirts and planting seeds and all that bullshit. Bro, manage your quarterback. Do it better. The Eagle coaches have, someone's going to go like this. Sills, you think the coaches really on offense have done a bad job? Yeah. Because Jalen Hurts rescues them. He rescues their game plan. Hurts makes that staff look good. Jalen Hurts makes that staff look good. Do you know who the most significant people are for 13-1? It's Jalen Hurts and Howie Roseman. And then Jeff Stoutland. The rest of them, dudes. I think personally, this is how the coaching staff puts the game plan together. I think they come up with design passing plays. And if it breaks down, they tell Jalen, go ahead, take off. That's not a game plan. That's not a game plan. It's not. You need to, and like I said, some go, well, Sills, that's part of his game. Right. It's part of his game. But the problem that you have when you play schoolyard football, a guy's going to get hit. It's a matter of time. Jimmy Johnson just said it. They're going to get hurt. It's more important for the coach to protect the kid than, to me, designing offensive passing plays. Jalen, just get down. Running him inside the tackles like that is preposterous. step on his ankle, twist his knee. Shit, this injury here was a guy falling on him. It's a matter of time. He will not last. It is not sustainable. You cannot build a football franchise around a guy who gets hurt. Ask the 49ers. That case in San Francisco is not about Garoppolo running. He's just injury prone. But when you got RG3 and you got Lamar, look at Lamar Jackson. You know the critical thing about Lamar Jackson's injuries this year? They'll probably make the playoffs as a wild card, the Ravens. But do you know the seeding issues that they now miss by losing games, losing to the Browns? Now you're talking about losing seeding, and you got to play tougher games. You got to play tougher games when you could have been a division winner. But you can't because your quarterback's always hurt. Let's not forget all the quarterback sneaks and runs. I think Doug with a roster would be dangerous. I think Doug's building a roster in Jacksonville. I think he's building one. Thursday night, you want to hear something? If they beat the Jets, and I think they beat the Jets Thursday night, how about the Jags are 7-8? Shit, if Doug, just like Merrill Reese said, he ends up 9-8, and the way Trevor Lawrence is playing, Doug Peterson might get NFL Coach of the Year after what happened a year ago with Urban Meyer. If Doug Peterson ends the season 9-8, I'm going to give him my vote for NFL Coach of the Year. He turned the Jags around in 1 year? I don't know. The guy in Detroit deserves calls too, as does the guy in Philly. NTN had 100 yards this last. You see what they did to the Cowboys last week and running on football? Dude, this Dallas game, let me tell you how I beat the Cowboys up. Run that ball at them. They suck defending the run. Don't throw it. They are not physical at the point of attack. They are not. They give up chunk yards. The Jags had 500 yards in total offense on them. Did you hear what I said to Jimmy before I brought him on? Jimmy never told us about making great plays. Don't make the stupid-ass play. Don't make the mistake that costs your team. He was more concerned about the bad play than the great play. He knew he had great players. He knew he had great players. And we were going to make great plays. Hey, Dan, I hate when you're right sometimes. Brian, so does my wife, Brian. Trust me. Brian, rest of you guys, just so you know, okay, my daughter compared me today to a tank. She compared me to a tank. I go, what do you mean? She's like, Dad, not a lot of brains, but a lot of power. So just so you know, okay? Trust me when I tell you, my wife and my kid give me the same shit you guys do. So I'm properly prepped when I see, okay? Big Sills. Do any non-running quarterbacks exist in college anymore? Phenomenal question. Phenomenal question. I believe that's changed. That's a great question. Hard to find those Trevor Lawrences or Deshaun Watson type guys. I agree. That's Trevor Lawrence is a drop back who can run. It's a great question. Hey, Dofi, I don't know if Miles Sanders is a better back than Saquon Barkley. He's having a better year than him. My opinion. He's having a better year. He's having a better year. Sydney, think the Italians made a tank once that went faster in reverse. Amen. Yeah. Hey, we did have the Roman Empire. Give me a break. We did have the Roman Empire. Sills, that Purdy bird looking pretty good. NFC title game, Purdy versus Hurts. Could be a good one. Than us against the Bills or Chiefs. I haven't wavered on that. I actually think it's going to be Garoppolo, though, in the NFC title game. Dude, the Cowboys, man. Where in your right mind do you think the Dallas Cowboys have the upper hand in this game? Dak Prescott, he sucks. Dak sucks. He's not Kirk Cousins. Jalen will play this week against Dallas. Never happened. Ever. What makes you go like this with Dak Prescott that you think he can beat that Eagle team? I saw them play. Who was that team 2 years ago that the Cowboys played on a either Thursday or Sunday night in New Orleans? And didn't Prescott lose 10-9 to like that running quarterback guy? Didn't they lose 10-9 like to this like nobody guy? That Taysom Hill dude? I thought the Cowboys went to New Orleans a couple of years ago and they were supposed to run him off the field and they got worked over. I don't care who our quarterback is. I'm going to tell you this, guys. I think it's brilliant what the Eagles are doing. Keep putting as much false information out as possible. Yeah, I'm playing. No, I'm not playing. Yeah, I'm playing. No, Minshew's playing. Keep them guessing. You don't have to do anything until game time decision. And if he does play, keep it all the way up to game time. But see, here's the one thing, though. All the things I've been saying about your guy getting banged up, dude, man, you got away with it. You got away with the big one. Okay. Okay. I would love to see Jalen play on Saturday night. He needs the game. What if he goes out and shits the bed, though? And he goes out playing. I give him credit. What? And by the way, you don't get pats on the back for playing through pain. Everybody at this time of the year in the NFL is playing with it. So you don't get ceremonial medals for going out and playing through injuries. Jesse, you should be worried about the coaching. It sucks. I didn't realize it until yesterday. Jalen Hurts is 90% of the success on offense. It's not the coaching staff. It's not the coaching staff. It's coaches. It's the players that are playing at world-class levels. Look at the career years. You got a career year going on with AJ. You got a career year going on with Miles. And you're having an MVP season with your quarterback. That's all player production. That's not coaching. Shit, I can't tell the coaching sometimes with Sanders. Sometimes you play him. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you don't. There he is. No, he's not. Second half. Don't play him for a quarter. I don't get it. It's a good question. Do you want Hurts to play? I'll tell you this. The Cowboys may see this kid again. And don't think that this is not going to go down. But if Jalen Hurts plays, they're going to be going for it. Kicking him. Tackling him. You know what they're going to say? You know what Dan Quinn's going to say? get as many guys to the ball as possible when Hurts has the ball in his hand. I want to see all 11 guys in the scrum hitting that kid, hitting him. All coaches say that. I want to see all 11 hats on a guy. Very entertaining. My top 10 NFL teams. We'll do that at the top. By the way, we have the Eagles milk carton back. Sometimes you see them, sometimes you don't. God, we have a whole shitload of stuff here. By the way, that was pretty awesome with Coach Johnson joining us, and we really appreciate it. We got a ton of stuff here to hit on, too. Ton of stuff. Also, the MVP race. We will do that as well. Please hit the like button. Hour number 2. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messa & Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messa & Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.
Post-game show with Seth Joyner,
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn,
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney,
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
and Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Post-game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Number 1, Jeff D'Ambrosio. Destination Downingtown is rolling back prices for a December to remember. For a limited time, you can own, not lease, brand new 2023 Jeep Wranglers for only $30,995 or $339 per month. New Rams starting at only $30,995 or new Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs $189 per month. Zero down can deliver. Get the price you want, the selection you need, and the VIP treatment you deserve. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Big Finish Sales Event.
Did you know taxes could be your biggest expense during retirement? Are most of your assets in tax-deferred accounts like IRAs and 401ks? Taxes are historically low today, but we're facing significant headwinds in the future. Do you have a plan? The Thrive Financial team has more than 100 years of experience helping people across the Delaware Valley with forward-looking tax planning. Learn how to shift your money from forever tax to no or low tax accounts. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.
Going. Big Chill, Hour 2, National Football Show. Yeah, one more thing about Lamar. Last year, Xander and I were going like this. Man, that guy is just electric. Now he misses significant games for his team. Can't build a team around Lamar Jackson. Give that guy $50 million, give him a guaranteed contract like Deshaun Watson. No, thank you. Not happening. I'll give you a 3-year contract, and I'll guarantee all that, but I'm not guaranteeing you Deshaun Watson money. You don't throw the ball like that guy. Deshaun Watson's going to win a ton of games in Cleveland. That's a superstar ball player. He's a superstar ball player. It's been like 800 days since he's played. I actually think he's played pretty well for being out that long. He's 2-1 or something, whatever. Not putting up any kind of numbers right now, but he's getting back into the flow. And you know what's good about it? They're winning. They're winning with him. So the investment is about winning. Do you remember his last year in Houston? Almost 5,000 yards, and he threw 36 touchdowns with 7 picks. In scummy Houston. And I mean that with the Texans, not the city. It's a fabulous place. The Texans are a scummy organization. He's going to win. You know, I posted something, and I still hold to this. I wish that the Eagles had gotten him. You're going to win more games, and that guy's going to be more significant and last longer because he's really not a dual threat guy. He makes plays from the pocket. You don't throw for 5,000 yards and call yourself dual threat. There's no dual threat guy at 5,000 yards. I'll get to the top 10 NFL teams here in a moment. Big Sil's top 10. Would I rather have Deshaun Watson and Jalen Hurts? Of course. But then people like to put the whole – and, you know, I got into an argument, believe it or not, with my daughter and my wife over this. She's like, well, what about his character? League cleared him. Television executives cleared him. The commissioner cleared him. 3 grand juries cleared him. It's not my responsibility to be a moralist. I don't know him from a can of paint, nor do you. That has no bearing on my life. Is he creepy? Yeah. But what's that got to do with football? You know, you guys add this other component of you care about what it got. How does that, like, what do you care about? SpongeBob and guys like that too, that you watch on television? It's really remarkable. My idols in life were my grandfather and my priest father, Bob. My Uncle Richard. They weren't dudes I saw on TV. My grandpa was my idol, not Randy White. I got a chance to meet Randy and play with Randy, so it was a little different. You're right that Watson hasn't won anything yet, but he's a better talent. You're not seeing the big picture? What's the big picture? The league cleared him. 2 grand juries cleared him. And because you have an opinion, that's all you have is an opinion on Watson. By the way, just so you know, I'm not defending him. I don't care about him. You guys care about that shit. I don't. I don't care about people I don't know like that. Why would I? I don't know you from a can of paint. Man, now I know why a lot of people in life are miserable, because they worry about shit that doesn't pertain to them. Dude, he's a football player who I've never met and lives in Cleveland. He's a scumbag. You know, okay. I don't know. Never met him. But we're so easy to cast dyes on people. And some would go, Sills, you defend a guy who's got 20. I'm not defending anything. The league cleared him. If the league thought he was such a bad guy, they would have suspended him for life. I blame the league for this. If you don't have the balls to suspend Deshaun Watson for the rest of his life, that's not my concern then. And remember something. You know what the biggest problem with Deshaun Watson in Cleveland is? The owners, the league, the commissioners, and the advertisers put him in a room with a bunch of guys who have to eat that shit. How'd you like to be in that locker room in Cleveland and have to answer to that? There's no bearing in your life at all. You bring them in the room. Then it makes the players look like they're accomplices to it. It's such a contradicting league. The league will make a stance on someone taking a knee, but they won't make a stance on a guy who's got 24 rape allegations. Don't get over that shit. One day you'll come to your senses and understand the league goes by the winds of social media. It's more popular to bang on Drew Brees, not taking a knee or shitting on the flag, than it is to kick that guy out of the league for the rest of his life if you had such conviction about it. If you had such conviction about Deshaun Watson and his behavior, he wouldn't be playing. But you'll talk about some dumbass knee thing. Makes no sense. And it doesn't for a reason. It's how the league acts. I can't believe I have to explain this to people at times. I'm not defending nothing. You can't defend a league because it's a contradicting league. They would rather have players shitting on the flag than kicking that guy out of the game for the rest of his life. And giving him a raise and guaranteeing $230 million. I know some of you don't like to hear this. Sorry. That's what happened. See, when I say stuff like this to you, again, you go behind and you peel the onion and you go behind the curtain and shit. Hey, look at Roland. F the flag. Roland, you have every right in this country to say that. But see, here's the difference between me and you. I don't judge you over that comment. You probably don't care anyway. But you would care if I said something, because I just said something about the flag and you thought enough to say something like that. Your politics, your sexuality and everything doesn't make me form an opinion about a man's character. My individual relationship with people form that ability to whether or not you're a good person or not, and somebody in my life. That's how I see people. Not through the lens of politics, religion, or sexuality. I see people for who they are. I like people with difference of opinions. You see them on my show every day. 90% of the people today don't like people like me, because you know why? I allow people to have difference of opinions. And I tell the truth. I told you this the other day. Most people would rather be lied to than told the truth to. It's unfortunate, but it's reality. Top 10 teams. National Football League. Love it. By the way, Xander, I love you, man. Xander goes, Sills, are you in the chat? I go, I didn't even know we had a chat. Yeah. People trying to get me fired in the chat, pretending to be me. Classic. Hey, everyone in here, give yourselves a clap. You know why? You're working. You're working. You're getting to everybody. You're getting to them because they're coming here. Oh, I think it's a merit badge. Top 10 teams, National Football League, baby. Eagles milk carton. MVP race. I didn't get a chance to hit on week 15. We're going to do that here in a minute. Here are the big sills. Top 10 teams in the National Football League as we head in to week 16. Number 10, too much talent. I think this football team has to start winning some ball games. They've been laying some eggs as of late. I thought they played exceptionally well against the Bills. I got the Miami Dolphins in the 10 hole. A lot of talent on that team. And I was kind of somewhat encouraged by the way they played against the Buffalo Bills this past Saturday. Number 9, I thought it was a gutsy performance this past Sunday with Giants and the Commanders, and the Giants pulling it out, getting a win. Brian Dable's done a hell of a job with that football team. He really has. He's done a hell of a job with that football team. So I got the Gigantes at number 9. Number 8, one of the best quarterbacks in the game and one of the teams that frustrates me the most. I've got the Chargers sitting at number 8. I believe they're 8-6, but they frustrate the hell out of me. At number 7, I don't know. I got the Cowboys here. Shit, do I think the Cowboys are playing better football than the Lions? The Lions are 7-7 right now, and the Cowboys are 10-4. Boy, I don't know. You know, I mean, there's a part of me that says the Cowboys are not. How many people think? And hey, am I right now on this? Eagle fans. Best team you played all year, the Lions. Am I right? The best team that the Philadelphia Eagles have played this year have been the Detroit Lions. I think they're going to make the playoffs at the end of the day. Okay? Personally, I think if you played Lions and Cowboys today, I might pick the Lions. You heard Jimmy, I didn't even bring up the Lions and he brought them up. Number 6, Big Sil's top 10 NFL teams. I got the Vikings here. You know, here's what I got to tell you. Was it the greatest comeback in the history of the National Football League? Yeah. But so you lit your house on fire and you were able to save everything in your house, putting out the fire you started. You know? So do you get a lot of credit for that? Or do you get conversations about having too much inconsistencies? And that game was a microcosm of their season, wasn't it? I don't know if the Vikings have played a complete game all year. Maybe that early game against Green Bay. But now we see Green Bay's kind of on a roll a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you look at the Vikings and you go like this. Wait a minute here. You lit the damn house on fire. You put it out. I'm supposed to give you great. Everyone's getting backslaps for coming back from a 33-point deficit at halftime. And you're going, what a comeback. And you're like, yeah, but they started the fire. JM, he also has the greatest college football comeback against us, Maryland versus UM. Frank Reich he took over for Boomer at Maryland. I think it was 84. We were up 38-0 or some shit. And they came 31-0 and came back and beat us. Then he does it in the playoffs on my birthday, January 3rd. Eric goes, is Nick coach of the year to you? No. Because, Eric, there's some people. Hey, Eric, I'll ask you this. What's more impressive? If Doug Peterson gets the Jaguars to the playoffs with that Jags team, after Urban Meyer lit that Jags team on fire and was an embarrassment, and turning Trevor Lawrence's career around and saving a number 1 overall pick, what do you think has been most impressive? What Doug did in Jacksonville or what Nick did in Philly? Personally, for me, I think what Doug is doing in Jacksonville is more impressive than what Nick is doing in Philadelphia. And I would even make the comment that Dan Campbell's going to get serious consideration. They were 1-6. They're 7-7 now. They were 1-6. Jesse goes, Sills, do you think the Lions can beat the Cowboys today? I do. How about this? Jesse, who do you think's playing better quarterback, Jared Goff or Dak Prescott? Who's playing better ball, you think, right now? Who's had a better season, Jared Goff or Dak Prescott? Who do you think's had a better year? I think Goff has. I think Jared Goff has made the Detroit Lions. I think Jared Goff has made the Detroit Lions do this. I don't know about getting a quarterback now. Here are your top 5 now. So let me give you a recap. Big Sills, top 10 NFL teams. 10, Dolphins. 9, Giants. 8, Chargers. 7, Cowboys. 6, Vikings. Here's your top 5 teams. I got the 49ers here at 5. You know why? As much as Purdy looks good in San Francisco, if I could say that here, I still got to see more. I think you'll get to Garoppolo. Now, they won the NFC West. But I think you'll get Garoppolo in the postseason. I think you'll get Jimmy G. I'm just, it's a headless horseman in San Francisco, which makes them hard to evaluate. I think you guys are going to be shocked as we get into the top 4 here. I got the Bills at 4. The lack of running game and the way that Allen gets hit, it's troubling. It's more, get this, here's this. It's more troubling to me on how Josh Allen plays 10 times more than how Jalen plays. I think Josh Allen is a phenomenal talent, but he's going to have the same length of career as Andrew Luck. If they don't fix that up there, he is not going to make it. He's not. And they need to eradicate that in some way. They need to put that thing in a harness. They need to do a better job. Here's what I think the Bills need to do better. The Bills need to do second half game calling and situational play calling better. And you need to establish the running game, and not with Allen. Establishing the running game in Buffalo, the same way Philly establishes the running game, is going to be a disaster. Both franchises are going to lose their guy, and you're going to be in the circus again of looking for another quarterback. Number 3. I got the Chiefs here at 3. 7th straight AFC West championship. Andy Reid has done a fabulous job, but here's what we're going to say about the Chiefs. And this is what I was trying to tell you about Jalen Hurts here. Patrick Mahomes is no longer going to be evaluated on what he does in the regular season. Patrick Mahomes is now in the conversation of the Favres, of the Bradys, the Mannings, the Bradshaws, the Montanas. He's now like LeBron. You're not going to ever have a conversation about LeBron James and Karl Malone. You're just not. Guys look the same. They kind of play the same position. I know that. LeBron likes to bring the ball up more than what Karl did. He had John Stockton. So I get all. But you're never going to have a conversation because the amount of winning is not there on Malone's side. But when you become Michael Jordan and you are Jordan and you're LeBron, like Tiger's not compared to Arnold Palmer. Tiger's compared to Jack Nicklaus, the all-time legends. Hurts is not in that conversation of the all-time legends. Mahomes is. Okay? Players, that's why this game on Saturday is one of those games that matters for Jalen and legacy stuff. That's a legacy game. Those are legacy games. You know why? How many people, you know what's funny? I'll give you something here that Eagle fans are so great at. And I'm sorry, I'm at number 3 right now. I'll get to the rest of the list here. Big Sales Top 10 100. You know what's great? I said something a couple months ago about selling tickets at Eagle games. You know what you guys said to me? Sills. Whether it's Russell Wilson or Flip Wilson, we're going to have 67,948 at Lincoln Financial. Ain't going to be about selling tickets and jerseys. Eagle fans are going to have 67 or 69,748, right? Shit like that. Like, that's not going to matter. You worry about that when you have to go to Landover and you have to go to a Commanders game. Not in Philly, dog. Okay? Not in Philly. You guys reminded me of that. And that's what that game is on Saturday for Hurts. It's a legacy game. Tell me this wouldn't be the greatest theater of all time. Minshew throws 2 picks. All of a sudden, Hurts comes off the bench and leads the team to a victory and the number 1 seed and closes it up, takes his helmet off, sitting on the sidelines there. Dude, you're the MVP. Hey, not only that, I'm giving you an Academy Award. Picture this. Tell me how freaking unreal it would be. Minshew's not playing well. And, dude, would this not be down the Philly special line? Not playing well, man. He's talking to Shane Steichen. They signal to Hurts. Hurts gets off the bench, puts his helmet on, puts his chin strap on, looks at him. He goes, I got ya. Goes out there and leads the Eagles to a victory. How you doing? How you doing? That's what hey, man. That thing will have 100 million viewers. That thing. Hurts will go into the pantheon of Mahomes and Allen and all them other guys and Burrow. And that shit you remember for the rest of your Philadelphia sports history and all the guys who did shit like that. Clark leading the Flyers. Malone leading the Sixers. Schmidt leading the Phillies. Right? Howard leading the Phillies. Foles leading the Eagles. You remember all that shit. Those are iconic moments. That could be an iconic. I'm devastated. I wanted to see him beat Dak. Dude comes off the bench, wins the game, watch this, throws 2 touchdowns, 114 yards. They sit him for the final 2 to rest his shoulder. Then he goes on this kind of run. How about this? Let me show you what he has ahead of him. Say he plays, comes in, relieves Minshew. They win. They rest him. He beats Brady in the opening round of the playoffs. They would have the lesser record of the opponent in the postseason. Brady would probably somehow win a playoff game because he always does. And you beat Brady, and then you beat Mahomes. No, you beat Brady, then you beat the Niners, then you beat Mahomes. And you all started on Christmas Eve. And the journey of the buildup to that game would be one of the most iconic years in Philly history. It's a movie. Kids benched at Alabama, taken out of the national championship game. And in the most significant championship game, he leads his team versus the guy I just got through telling you. And he beats the guy who was in Philly, Andy Reid. That's why we love sports, man. See, I don't want Mahomes to not have a story for him. Mahomes wants that kind of story. Playing again. You don't think he wants to play against Brady in the Super Bowl again? Very few times. Jalen's not going to have a couple more times, but to play against Brady. Dude, you want to beat Brady. The Philly special? This would be the incredible journey of Jalen. That's what I'm talking about. I love shit like that. I love the story behind the title, how you got there. I told you this. One of my favorite moments in Super Bowl history is the quarterback going over to Doug Peterson, recommending a play, and Doug going, let's run it. Shit, dude. Let me recap. Big Sil's top 10. 10 Dolphins. 9 Giants. 8 Chargers. 7 Cowboys. 6 Vikings. 5 Niners. 4 Bills. 3 Chiefs. The number 2 team in the National Football League, according to Big Sills. I got the Cincinnati Bengals. If I were the Chiefs and Bills, I'd be concerned about that team. They are the reigning AFC champions, and they were a quarter away from winning the Super Bowl. With the shittiest O-line, I'm saying, man, that Bengal team, do you think the Bengals look better than the Chiefs and Bills right now? I think they do. I'll tell you this, the hottest teams in the league right now are probably the Lions and the Bengals. And the number 1 team in the NFL, I'll give a shit who's quarterback. You put Ron Jaworski's ass in there. I got the Eagles number 1. Dolphins 10, Giants 9, Chargers 8, Cowboys 7, Vikings 6, Niners 5, Bills 4, Chiefs 3, Bengals 2, the Philadelphia Eagles number 1. General says, I'll give you that, Sills. He plays and wins the MVP. It's a lock. Lock. I'm getting my vote on Sunday, by the way. Cowboys yesterday emailed me, you voting for Parsons? I was like, no. I'm voting for the guy in San Francisco. I think Bosa's had a better year than anybody. By the way, I think you're Hassan Reddick. I don't know. He's in the top 5. That's quite a comment. Shit, the kid in Cleveland's good. Myles Garrett. Bosa. Hey, did you see Aaron Donald got into the Pro Bowl? What a crock of shit that is. How does Aaron Donald get into the Pro Bowl playing on the worst defense in the NFL this year? Hey, by the way, at least you give credit to the Eagles after the 17th season. At least 18, they showed up and wanted to play. People in Los Angeles, the coach didn't want to be there. The defensive star didn't want to be there. Jalen Ramsey got his ring. Cooper Kupp got hurt. Talk about laying down and not wanting to play. And still on the victory parade on Figueroa in Los Angeles. Talk about not showing up. It's the biggest disgrace in the history of a Super Bowl. As Super Bowl champion, talk about a dog. And you pay all them guys all that money? Shit, man. At least the Eagles showed up in 18. Rams, that's a turd show. That's a turd show. Hey, how does Aaron Donald get to the Pro Bowl over Javon Hargrave? How does he get to the Pro Bowl over him? How many sacks has Hargrave had? I mean, how does Aaron Donald beat out Javon Hargrave? How many sacks does Javon Hargrave have? I mean, the guy's does he have 8.5 sacks? I think he's got 8.5, right? Howie's story also, Dan. It is. Hey, 00? It is. Hang on for a minute. Hargrave's got 10 sacks, and Aaron Donald beat him out for the Pro Bowl? Another overhyped guy. He's a good ball. He's a great pass rusher. Can't play to run to save his ass. That's sick. That's sick. That's sick. Javon Hargrave. He made the Pro Bowl, right? How come we know Donald made it? Jesus criminy, man. Javon Hargrave, hey, watch this. Let me say this to you about Hargrave. Javon Hargrave's got 10 sacks. I might pay him $14 million. I might pay him. Interior D linemen don't get 10 sacks and play the run like he does. Rest come out tomorrow. Vlad, Hargrave better be on that list. Yeah, he had a 10-time better season. Okay? I can't wait to see that list. If Aaron Donald beats him out, there's no validity. I mean, here, watch this. If Aaron Donald beats him out to start, and I know they're playing the flag football thing, but still, it's the recognition of being named to the team now. And by the way, you're not going to have any alternates any longer because they're not playing the game. They've been playing touch football for 20 years anyway. But this would have showed you right here. If Donald beats him out, end of the day, Jalen was never going to win the MVP. Because Hargraves had a better season than Donald. That's not debatable. That's not debatable. I think Brandon Graham deserves the comeback player of the year. 8.5 sacks. Why would I give comeback player of the year to like Jared Goff or the guy in Seattle, Geno? You can't come back from sucking. You come back from catastrophic injuries or some shit like that, right? You can't come back from not being a good player. That's not a comeback. Didn't watch the Pro Bowl. Hey, King Pooty, you didn't watch the Pro Bowl in 20 years and it still got great ratings. I can't get it. Hey, Maniac. Yeah, and Aaron Donald's on IR still. Aaron Donald made the Pro Bowl and he's on IR. And if Hargrave's not on that list tomorrow, I'm going to blow an absolute gasket. 10 sacks. I think he's probably since the Pittsburgh game, he's played really well. Javon Hargrave. He's made me think about paying him now. He's a 12.9 guy now, 12.9 million. I don't know. I might kick that up a bit. Keep his ass in the building. Give him Fletcher's money. Tell Fletcher, you want to come down to 3 or 4 million? I'll bring you in the room. By the way, Fletcher's got 6 sacks. I mean, if Fletcher wants to be a mercenary or he wants to be a gypsy for a couple of years like Sue has been and making that kind of money, on contending teams, he could easily do that. There's always a need for somebody with that size and that ability. And by the way, I got to say it again to you here. There is no question one of the great moves that Howie Roseman made this year, the additions of Sue and Joseph have panned out enormously. The entire defense has picked up since they added those two men. And you got those guys at a Walmart. They're standing in line at a Walmart, and Howie calls their cell phone. And they're, hey, you want to play? Sure, okay. Got to put their groceries down and get on a plane and come to Philly. That's crazy great. Crazy great. And by the way, you know what was cool about what they asked them to do? Hey, man, you don't really have to be a pass rushing guy. We just need you to stop the run. That's all Sue and Joseph are doing. They're hired mercenaries to do one thing, stop the run. You know how Aaron Donald is a mercenary on pass rushing and TFLs? Because he never plays the run. That's what they've asked these guys to do. Hey, go Sixers. He is getting – Sue has some gas in the tank. The kid Joseph's not bad too. He's just an enormous – those are two enormous men. Hey, by the way, where's Jordan Davis? Where's Jordan Davis? Is he getting – I haven't seen Jordan Davis. Is he activated yet? Pilgrim, thank you, sir. Happy holidays to you. Oh, the milk carton guys. Last 2 weeks, I don't think we've had Eagle milk carton dudes. Hang on for a second. I've got to put the milk carton guys up. Excuse me, NovaCare guy? Yes. I've got two Eagle people that are on the milk carton. You know, have you seen these? Have you seen these people? 1-800 call Howie Roseman. Okay. Thank you for watching. Here we go. We're setting an all points bulletin. In the entire region, Jersey, Philly, Baltimore, even go up to New York if you want. I don't care. Just don't go down towards Virginia. I don't. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Here are the milk carton guys. Number one, have you seen Shane Steichen in his shitty game plan against the Bears? Where was that guy? Shane Steichen, your game plan blew. Got your quarterback hurt, guy. Got your quarterback hurt. You and your game plan. Or this guy's the no man plan. Hey, I think it's a good idea to run Jalen Hurts 17 times in a game against the shittiest run defense in the league. Yeah, what about the guy behind him? Screw him. Let's get Jalen beat up. Get the Cowboy game coming down the stretch. Who gives a shit? It's a 3-win Bears team. There's not one thing I just said made sense. There is not one thing I just said that makes sense. Okay, so I ran Jalen and threw the ball 37 times against the shittiest run defense in the league. Okay? I got a 1,200-yard back. I didn't play him until the second half. But I ran my quarterback into the ground. Got him hurt. Some game plan. Here's Shane Steichen's shitty game plan against the Bears. Hey, Jalen, if the guy's not open, run. If you don't see land, you better swim for it. Here's Shane Steichen's game plan. Hey, if you don't see land, you may have to abandon ship anyway. Shane Steichen's offensive game plan is abandon ship. Shane Steichen got Jalen Hurts hurt. Some would go like this. Sills, Jalen called that, though. Why would you allow that? Why would you allow your quarterback against the worst? Look, here's what does it. Watch this. I'll throw the ball 37 times versus the worst run defense in the NFL. Check wrong. Dude, if I know you can't take a power punch, I'm going to hit you with as many as I can until you fall down. I'm not going to keep you in the match by jabbing you. Why would I get into a fight with a guy and jab him when I know I can knock him out? Hey, I'll just sit here and keep him in the game. And then he hits me in the 10th round and knocks me the you-know-what out. This is the game plan of the Eagles and Shane Steichen's game plan. Instead of throwing haymakers, which the Eagles are known for, they're sitting there jabbing. I went like this the whole game. You put the Bears in the fourth quarter, you gave them a chance. On coaching. And you got your dude hurt. Dumb. It was the dumbest day in coaching history for Philadelphia and that staff. I've got Sirianni on here for not stopping it. Buck stops with you, Junior. Milk Carton Eagles, Sirianni, and Shane Steichen. Certainly somebody with a little bit of knowledge would have stopped that shit. But you have inexperienced coaches. Dude, the biggest grown-up on the sidelines is your quarterback. The most poised player in person on the sidelines for the Eagles is that quarterback. Carlos goes easy on his passion. Hey, I told you this before, man. Passion is something that's a funny thing. It could be your greatest asset or your worst asset. Davis played 14 snaps in Chicago. Okay, I didn't see him. Sirianni and Steichen are on the Eagle milk carton. Players played well. I had a guy go like this to me yesterday. Sills, what about the 2 picks that Jalen threw in the Chicago game? I'm like, did you not think he was going to have a 2-pick game? Guy did go for over 300 yards passing, 315. He did run for like 60-some yards or 70 yards. I mean, I thought he was spectacular. What about the 2 picks? It's Chicago, it's December, and it's windy. And you're playing against the worst run defense in the NFL. Guy goes, you blaming the coaches? I go, you're damn right. Those picks are on the coaches. You know what somebody said too? They go, Sills, we're a passing team. Guys, when you don't have to throw high percentage turnover, how about this? Do you guys agree that the pass is more of a high percentage turnover than the run play? Why would you throw a pass, a high percentage play in Chicago, 20 degrees, your quarterback already says he can't feel his hands, and not run the ball versus the shittiest run defense? And what was the disconnect there? Ego. The ego was the disconnect. The ego. Dude, you know who the best? Seth Joyner's probably going to give me 20 lashes across my back. The best coach Sunday was Jonathan Gannon. The best coach on Sunday was Gannon. How's that possible? Not a very high bar. Reddick has been playing better than Parsons. Yes, Jesse. last 7 weeks? Not a doubt. I even asked Jimmy Johnson in the first hour about that. I think the guy's too inconsistent for me. He's a splash player. He's not a consistent player. Dude, hey, how about this? How many people watch Reggie White when the Eagles lost and you went, that guy's great in losses? Or LT. Many of you are watching our show right now. Watch both Lawrence Taylor and Reggie White when the Giants or the Eagles lost, right? Did you not come away with that game going, shit, man, LT played great? I mean, he loved decapitating Ron Jaworski. How many times you watch Reggie go, God, Reggie annihilated that team. You may have lost, but those guys showed up every day. This guy Parsons, man, talk about a milk carton guy. LT and Reggie. Yeah, hey, right? Big picking. And losses, you were like, shit, man, them guys are great. Every game watching Reggie and Jerome and Clyde and Seth was a phenomenal game. Maurice, sometimes you guys came away that gangrene defense and you went just like this. Hey, I know we lost, man, but they killed that team. They killed that team. Niners are looking, dude, the Niners are the team. Ain't the Cowboys. Cowboys. The quarterback's overrated. CeeDee Lamb's overrated. They're talking like CeeDee Lamb is some sort of like special guy. Watch this. You think CeeDee Lamb's better than DeAndre Hopkins? No. Here. Is CeeDee Lamb better than A.J. Brown? No. A.J. Let's see off the top of my head. Is CeeDee Lamb better than DeAndre Hopkins? Absolutely not. Better than Devontae Adams? No. Better than Jamar Chase? No. Better than Tyreek Hill? No. Better than, Jesus, I mean, Mike Williams? No. Better than TK Metcalf? Come on, I'm done with it. I don't want to write anymore. CeeDee Lamb. He'd be a number 3 in Philly. If Nick Sirianni had play calling brain cell for each time he spits on the sidelines, he might be decent. Dude, that was a horrible display of coach. Dude, I now know what goes on the sidelines. Jalen is the rescue plan. Jalen Waddle's better. Dude, they have a rescue plan in Philly. It's called Jalen Hurts. That staff, Shane Steichen's overrated. Shane Steichen's an overrated coach. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. He's overrated. Gannon's better. Gannon's better. You can't tell me in a press conference that the plan is when the passing breaks down, it's on the quarterback to run. That's not a coordinator. You understand? It's not so much I want to take anything away from Jalen running. What are you coordinating? When he takes off and you're not coordinating anything. If Jalen doesn't see the passes open, he covers for his shitty offensive coaches. Am I wrong? Jalen's carrying the offensive coaches. Now, to the credit, they've designed it that way and it's successful. They saw what the kid's strength was. They trust him as a coach player on the field. Here's one thing that I think we don't do enough of. Do we not agree that Jalen has tremendous judgment of when to run, when not to run, when to get down? He's got great judgment. I think he's getting worn out. I think he's starting to get worn out. Whether he plays Saturday or not, this is the beginning. The big one hasn't happened, thankfully. Steichen came from the Chargers. Well, so did Frank, and so did Sirianni. They came from the Chargers too. Those guys came from the Chargers too when they were in San Diego. As a matter of fact, I didn't realize, but I met Nick in San Diego at the old Charger complex when Mike McCoy was the head coach. And Frank was the coordinator, and the wide receiver coach was Sirianni. Big Sil's the offensive genius with Andy, Eric Bieniemy, or Mahomes. I think it's Andy Reid and Mahomes. I think Eric Bieniemy is a clipboard holder. I think he's a clipboard holder. The guy in San Francisco, DeMeco Ryans, that dude needs a gig. That dude needs a gig. DeMeco Ryans, if that guy doesn't get a job, there's a problem. That dude needs a gig. DeMeco Ryans, man. That kid, in my opinion, along with Brian Flores, those are your top candidates. Plus the stupid Sean Payton stuff, too. That'll be in there. Those three dudes, they better get gigs. Ryans in San Francisco is a hell of a coach, man. Dude, you know what's funny, Niners all day? You know Kyle Shanahan? Do you know who was on the coaching staff for Jay Gruden? Jay Gruden in Washington. Sean McVay. You ready for this? Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, and there's one other guy. Jay had all these guys in the building. And Xander goes like this. Brian Flores, he's the guy that sued the league. Yeah, but now we found out he wasn't lying. So you're going to hold the truth against him? Yeah, wait a minute, Xander. I talked about the NFL earlier. You're right. They'll hold the truth against him. You're right. Don't let the truth get in the way. Especially if a good story. You think there's any coincidence that Brian Flores' only gig he could get was in Pittsburgh, the home of the Rooney Rule, and one of the very few black coaches in the league? Oh, that was probably by coincidence. Okay. I got the MVP race. I want to do that at the top. And I did not get a chance because of the breaking news yesterday to recap week 15. I've got to do that. And plus, I want to reset some of the things that people are saying about my take when it came to why I blame the coaching staff. Coaching staff doesn't have a game plan offensively. The game plan is this. Hey, if it's not open, run. That's a game plan. That's your Philadelphia Eagle game plan. Hey, if it's not open, run. Because there's no common sense. I mean, they didn't even take into consideration who they were playing. Do you understand that? Your coaches in Philadelphia didn't even take into consideration who they were playing. They only gave a shit about their philosophy. That's inexperience. That's inexperience on display. When you don't know the room and you don't know your opponent. I'm more concerned about the Eagle coaches going into big games than ever before. I'll tell you what. Now, after what I saw in Chicago, I don't know how I don't vote for Jalen Hurts for the MVP. That dude has done more shit this year and covered more crap up than any player I've ever seen. How do you not know your opponent? How do you just look at your opponent and disregard any game plan against their deficiencies and call that a game plan? How do you do that? Well, I don't give a fuck who we're playing. It's us, and this is our ego. That's arrogance. Respect your opponents, no matter who they are, because they're going to come up and bite you. Bears played their super. How about this? The Bears came away from that loss feeling better than the Eagles did. Eagles lost their quarterback. Shitty game plan. Almost cost them a game. Everyone's looking at Justin Fields now as the future of the Bears. How you feeling? Some game plan. I don't care who I'm playing against. It's about us. That's like high school coaching. My wife doesn't have the ability to have game film of people they play. So they've got to kind of like coach themselves and their team. So they don't really know sometimes, unless you get a chance to watch the other team on TV, like BYU or UCLA or somebody like that. So when my daughter's team is playing, you know, she tries to watch as many of the games she can, at least to get an understanding of what they're trying to do. And it's very hard because you don't get game film. You got game film on these guys. Hour 3. MVP talk. Week 15, I didn't get a chance to recap. I want to reset. Please hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messon Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messon Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.
Post-game show with Seth Joyner,
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn,
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney,
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
and Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know how Philly is.
Post-game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Number 1, Jeff D'Ambrosio. Destination Downingtown is rolling back prices for December to remember. For a limited time, you can own, not lease, brand new 2023 Jeep Wranglers for only $30,995 or $339 per month. New Rams starting at only $30,995 or new Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs $189 per month. Zero down can deliver. Get the price you want, the selection you need, and the VIP treatment you deserve. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Big Finish Sales Event.
Did you know taxes could be your biggest expense during retirement? Are most of your assets in tax-deferred accounts like IRAs and 401ks? Taxes are historically low today, but we're facing significant headwinds in the future. Do you have a plan? The Thrive Financial team has more than 100 years of experience helping people across the Delaware Valley with forward-looking tax planning. Learn how to shift your money from forever tax to no or low tax accounts. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Go for the beers, go for the cheers, go for the hit and the hits, go for the scene, Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.
Big Sills. Love doing that. National Football Show, hour number 3. You know, as much as I love people, man, but Big Sills doesn't do interviews, man. I got people asking me every single day, at least 7 deep, to do their shows. If you don't do my show, man, there's a very slim chance Big Sills does your show. It's just not what I do, man. I'm here for this. You, us. Why would I spread myself around like that? I just don't. But I do have some great news. People, I love posting this kind of stuff because you know why? It's a good ego boost, but at the end of the day, it's more about jamming it in people's faces because you know Big Sills likes to sit on the face. You're going to love this one. So every year, I get invited to the Lee Steinberg Super Bowl party. I want to make sure I don't have anything on there. Lee will kick my ass if his cell phone's on here. First surprise announcement. So you look at this. Here it is. Okay. You're invited to the Lee Steinberg Christmas party. This is the 36th year, and it's with Maxim. And I'll tell you what, Xander, this is something for you and me, buddy. Can you see Xander at a Maxim party, Lee Steinberg? You know who his agent is. This is the guy that put the Patrick Mahomes $500 million deal together. This is Aikman's agent, Moon's agent, Montana. He did them all. Okay? Look at that. So Big Sills, Xander, Maxim. So I walk into the room there, man. I think Giselle was in there one year. And I forget, I think we were in Houston. Okay, and it's in Glendale, so it's right around the corner. Yeah. This thing's right around the corner, and my daughter goes to college in Arizona, right? So Big Sills may be making an appearance this year at the Lee Steinberg in Glendale. That thing's usually on Saturday night, too. So I don't know. Big Sills may have to get out of the Dan cave a little bit here to get in there, man. So I might be in the room here a little bit. MVP voting. I want to recap week 12 because I didn't get a chance, but I want to resettle some of the things that we were hitting on here too a little bit. Yeah, man. Follow me here, guys. How in the world do you look at your Eagle coaching? And by the way, something else. You know, the guys in Philly, the media guys, because they're afraid about having their press credentials taken from them, are going to go. And you're never going to hear this anywhere but here. Nobody wants their credential taken away. And by the way, I'm not trying to create any kind of animosity towards the Eagles as well. I'm not. I just do my job. See, I'm not a columnist. I'm not a journalist. Dan Sileo is not a journalist. Do I look like a journalist to you? Do I sound like a journalist? I'm an entertainer. Plain and simple. I am nothing more than that. I'm a talk show guy. I am not a journalist. And by the way, if you called me one, I'd probably think you called me an asshole. I'm not a journalist. Don't get that confused. I have an opinion. Journalists don't have opinions, or they're not supposed to. Today they do, and they masquerade as journalists, but they're not. You're not a journalist if you have an opinion. So when I say this stuff, Jess, I would not be shocked if Goddard plays on Saturday night. I know he's practicing. So when I say this is something that to me I try to just ask a conversation here. And please help me out, guys. So one more time here. And, I have to explain it because people go, how does Howie Roseman have anything to do with this? Howie Roseman is involved in play calling? Yeah. Do you know how Howie Roseman is involved in? How many people think Howie Roseman is involved in the play calling? By the way, and to what extent that he is involved in the game plan? I'd like to hear some of your thoughts on the comment that I just made. I said that Howie Roseman is involved in the game plan. How do you may not agree, but do you think he's involved in the game plan? And how is he involved in the game plan? Tell me how you think he's involved in the game plan. Tell me. How do you think he's involved? Game plan, maybe, but play calling? Nah. Completely agree. I don't believe he's involved in the play calling. You don't, Jeremiah, with this. Okay. Jeremiah, this is to you. So, let's take a look at Jeremiah on Sunday's game with Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders has 1,100 yards at 5.2 a carry. If he gets to 1,300 yards, he gets $750,000 as a bonus. On top of the 2.5 he makes now. So if he ends the season at 1,300 yards and 13 touchdowns, Howie's going to let that guy walk out the building because he's not going to offer him $7 million. There's a part of me that kind of understands why. You know why? You're going to pay a guy who's had one career year since he's been in Philly? I don't know. Someone will, though. You know who will? Buffalo and Kansas City. Maybe Miami. Maybe Baltimore. Because they need help for those quarterbacks. You see what Miles Sanders is going to do in the offseason? He's going to make Patrick Mahomes better, Josh Allen better, maybe Tagovailoa or Lamar Jackson better because he's going to help improve the run game. So what does Howie do? Hey, we got some player incentives. Some of you are probably going, he's not going to tell him to hold him back and not play him. Why? They could also be saying, well, Miles has got a history of injury too. So we want to hold him back a little. Use the other guys. Boston Scott, Gainwell, those guys. And don't tell me he hasn't done it before. I watched a Washington game 2 years ago when he pulled everyone. This organization is notorious for doing this because the meddling owner who likes to stand out front of locker rooms in Indianapolis, patting himself on the back every time a player walked in and reminding everybody that he brought Sue and Joseph in. Instead of staying in the background, he likes to be front and center. The most popular coach on the team is Coach Roseman, not Nick Sirianni. It's Coach Roseman. You see, every Thursday, Doug Peterson would get a list of actives and unactives. Here's guys that can play. Yeah. Remember, this is Howie's team. This ain't Nick Sirianni's team. This is Howie's team. That's why you had a contradiction. And that it's evident in that approach in the Chicago game. They didn't look at anything on Chicago's side. They didn't even take into account who Chicago was and is. They didn't even look at that. Chicago's the worst run defense. I've been saying this now for 2 days. They didn't give a shit. They threw the ball 38 times. Why? Watch this when you throw the ball 38 times. Even though the kid was successful. Here's what happens, though. Get a couple turnovers, a couple 3-and-outs, keep the other team in the game. Even with less than 250 total yards. That's how Washington beat you. That is not thinking the game through on a game plan. That's why I've been saying it's a rescue plan. Hey, Jalen, if it's not open, take off running. Some plan. Hey, if the house catches on fire, jump out the window. Well, Jesus, isn't there any other way? No, just jump out the window. Hope you don't break your ankle or break your leg. Just jump out the window. That's what this is. It's a fire drill. The Eagle offense is a fire drill. Watch this. Hey, the house catches on fire, Jalen. Just jump out the window. What if I break my leg? You won't. You squat 600 pounds. I mean, really. Dude, I mean, shit. And hey, and you know what's even crazier? You got a guy behind you that could totally help you. So, is it more important to get Jalen banged up and save Miles Sanders, or get Miles Sanders banged up a little and save Jalen? They didn't even take that into consideration. Well, Jalen takes off running. Well, you need to stop that shit. You need to design better offenses. They can't, because they're not intellectually talented enough to do that over there. Shane Steichen's a good offensive coordinator? Absolutely not. No way can you explain that game plan to me. Hey, screw it. He gets hurt. The Bears suck at run defense. And you're throwing the ball 40 times. What happens when you, hey guys, what happens when you have incomplete passes? The clock stops. So you get a couple 3-and-outs. And what do the Bears do? They play the run. They let him throw the ball. By the way, they let Jalen throw the ball, and they made it a fourth quarter game. Same thing Washington did. See, the coordinators are starting to figure this out now. You stop the run, get Jalen to throw the ball, get a couple 3-and-outs, make it a fourth quarter game, flip a coin and test your luck in the fourth quarter. You're not going to beat the Eagles in the first or second or third quarter. You need to get the game into the fourth quarter. You get the game into the fourth quarter, you can beat them. That's what Dan Quinn's doing right now. You can beat them. Get them into the fourth. A 3-win Bear team got you into the fourth quarter. Shit, there was a position in that game before Fields went down. Before Fields went down, I went, they're going to get the ball back with 2:43 left in the game. They can win this thing. Then he gets hit. And anytime you see Nathan Peterman in a game, you know it's over. I was like this. You're lucky, because I'd like to have seen what that kid could have done. I'd like to have seen what that would have looked like. Jeremiah, thank you very much. Happy holidays to you, my friend. They ran no RB last game. 2, they paid Miles or Slay last year. That's because he missed incentives. Miles is already over 2K. How does a few more yards drastically affect negotiations? What negotiations? There ain't going to be any good negotiations. Dude, the floor on a running back that's a all-pro running back and a Pro Bowl running back is $11 million. He's not going to get $11 million, but he's not going to accept 5. Kansas City will give him 7. Eagles aren't going to give Miles Sanders $7 million. And I negotiate. Wait a minute, Jeremiah. Negotiations with Philly or another team? Because a couple hundred yards will make a difference in negotiations with Buffalo and Kansas City and Baltimore. Won't in Philly. You're right. You're dead right. They haven't even offered him a contract. They didn't even talk to him about a contract extension. He's gone. Hey, Miles, here's $5 million. Whatever, dude. I wouldn't want to stay in Philly either. You let a running back at 26 years old go into a season with no negotiations, no contract offer, no nothing. Why would I stay? Because it's Philly. And I could go to Andy Reid or Sean McDermott for twice the money. For twice the money. I guarantee you Kansas City's not going to not use him. And you bring a guy up for $6 or $7 million in Buffalo. You know what Shady will tell him? Had a great time in Buffalo. You'll think you're in Philly. Shady had a great time up there. Negotiations with the Eagles? Oh, you're dead on, dude. What would a couple more hundred yards? Well, he's 199 away from 1,300. I think those 199 yards in negotiations with a 1,300-yard back and 13 touchdowns, when you're talking to Kansas City and Buffalo, would go a long way. In Philly, they can't even use him in a Bears game. This GM, man, he's pretty slick. He's good. But I see how he lights the house on fire. Howie Roseman is exactly what that Vikings-Colts game is. He'll have the greatest comeback of all time. The greatest comeback of all time from something that he lit on fire. It's quite remarkable. I did, Xander. Howie's the guy that lit the 17 team on fire. Everyone's walking around Philly going, this is his greatest accomplishment. Well, what about his greatest tragedy? Was burning the 17 team down. And he's getting credit for building it back up. Hey, he should. I mean, second-round quarterback and some of the free agent moves, the Sue and Joseph move, TJ Edward, absolutely. I mean, very seldom do you see free agents all pan out like this. Okay, so he should. Where did it say that Nick tried to use complex passing attacks? Who said complex passing attacks? Oh, okay. How about this? Why would you here, I'll make it simpler for you, dude. Why would you throw the ball in Chicago when your quarterback walks over to the sidelines and says, I can't feel my hands, versus the worst run defense in the National Football League, but you would throw it 38 times? You get some 3 and outs, some turnovers. You made it a fourth quarter game when you didn't have to. Is that simple enough then? You didn't even give a shit. You were playing the Bears. Throw the ball against the worst run defensive team in the NFL. On your P's. That is really doing your homework on your opponent. It was almost like they didn't do any homework on the Bears. It was almost like they didn't do any homework on them. Hey, the Bears got the worst run defense. I don't give a shit. We're doing this. That's exactly what they did. But the Bears don't really have. They're going to stop the run. You know, but they're the worst run defense. Yeah, I don't give a shit. We're going to throw the ball 38 times because I want Davante and AJ to get their numbers against a 3-win team. You got the Cowboys on a short work week. Two and 5. You're awesome, man. Thank you. Hey, Sills, do you think Gardner Minshew can step into Jalen's shoes and be great? I do, Bill. I think they're going to win. Bill, I think how about this? 2-1-5. Bill, show me where the Cowboys have the advantage. Where do the Cowboys have the advantage? Tell me. And we'll go over that. Show me this week where the Cowboys have the advantage. Can you guys? Where? I used to think they had better edge rushers. I'm not thinking that any longer. The tackles are better in Philly. The linebackers are better in Philly. The corners are better in Philly. So you have the better defense. You have the better O-line, the better running back, the better wide receiving core, better tight end. Goddard's playing. Jalen should sit this game in the next two. 85. Let's see how it plays out the next 48 hours. Here's my thing with Minshew. Dude, don't turn the ball over. High percentage passes. Check downs are okay. Watch this. Hey, can I tell you how I would coach Gardner Minshew? Gardner, punting is okay. Punting is okay. If you got to make this game a fourth quarter game, you're going to win it in the fourth quarter because you're better than them. Don't be behind going into the fourth quarter. You can run. Hey, why would you do anything different? Start that game off on a 17-play run drive and run that Cowboy team into oblivion. They're 27th stopping the run. They have sucked all year. The Bears ran the ball for 250 yards on them. Why would I throw it? Hey, this is what I tell people all the time when you're game planning people. If you got one arm tied behind your back and you're getting hit in the face, and you consistently get hit in the face, don't you eventually duck and try to figure it out? It's like, why would I counter myself giving Parsons opportunities at rushing the passer or Diggs on a play when I can run your dick into the dirt? Why make me not have to do that? Show me you can stop it. I don't believe they can. I don't believe they can stop it. To me, Minshew, don't turn the ball. He's capable of winning games. He's very capable. Is he capable of carrying a team a full season? I'm going to tell you something. The difference between a starting quarterback and a backup quarterback in the NFL, a good one, is very small. You know the difference between a starting quarterback and a backup quarterback, though, is when it comes to winning ball games? The starting quarterback can carry a team for a full season. Guys like Minshew and Foles and guys like that, maybe even this kid Brock Purdy, they could carry it for stretches. They can't win a full season. Gardner Minshew's 26 years old too, dude. He's got an audition at the Metropolitan Opera on Saturday. 31 teams in some role with him on the team. Look how, I'll tell you this. Parsons talk, but Eagles pass rush is coming. Sydney, so he's all talk, man. He's overhyped. I'll tell you one thing that has become very evident in today's NFL. If you don't have a quality backup quarterback, you're in trouble. You have got to have a quality guy. And when he was taking calls, and I'm talking Howie Roseman for Gardner Minshew from Indianapolis, Seattle, and Denver, and a couple other teams in the offseason that were inquiring about Minshew, and he not making that move and sending him there, can you imagine having Ian Book, an inexperienced quarterback who, I don't know, is on a practice squad guy or a guy that's actually won ball games and put up some numbers in the NFL? I'm just saying, man. I think every team, there is a place in this league for Gardner Minshew. If there's a place in this league for Chase Daniels, There's a place in this league for guys like Gardner Minshew. Jesse goes, Dak is soft. Jesse, Dak's not soft. He's just not what they thought he was. He's just soft. He's soft. I don't think he's soft. He's just not what they. Hey, it's just not the car you wanted. Damn. You know, when that the Griswolds buy that station wagon, they're going to see Wally World. The guy comes out and goes, Stan, this is not the blue metallic Super Sport that I wanted. Are you kidding me? Look at this. That green thing that came out, this is not the Super Sport metallic blue that I ordered, Stan. I don't know what this car is. We got a big trip to Wally World here, guy. This thing here is the latest state of the art. The trash bag hits him in the head. You're like, I don't know. I'm like, the Cowboys are exactly that with Dak Prescott. That's not quite the blue metallic Super Sport. Man. Sills, you think Gannon, Howie, and Sirianni are watching? They always watch. Of course they are. You kidding me? So do the other radio stations in your town. I know Crossing Broad does. Well, Sileo said something on his show the other day, and this is why he's wrong. Hey, guys, if you want to text me, I'll give you my cell phone number. I'll help you out with content anytime you want. It's very simple. Got a great fan base. I'm here to help. I'm a helper. Oh, I can't wait for Angelo to retire. Oh, my God. When Angelo retires after the Eagles season, this is stealing. It's stealing. It's too easy. I've never spoken in a market that's easier because you know why? The radio stations aren't really that good. The fans make it that way because you guys have ungodly passion. I think you guys tolerate most of the hosts, including me. Hey, Yale goes, I'm from the IRS and I'm here to help. That made me calling you, bro. Seals, you think the coaching is holding Dak back? No, I think Dak is holding the Cowboys back. Dak is the family truckster. Yeah. Name of the Clark's car. The family truckster. Yeah, unfortunately, you know, when they went to St. Louis, home of Barrett Brooks, and they got the rims taken, that's kind of what the Cowboys are with Dak. Man, why are my wheels wobbly? Yeah. Brother goes, Philly sports radio ain't what it used to be. Well, brother, pull up a chair because this is what it used to be. Talking truth. Having fun. Not getting bent or getting bent. But you see, this is like my aunt asked me something about you guys. I got to tell you this before I move on to, again, my MVP. We'll do that next. My aunt goes, these guys, they argue with, and I go, bet. It's exactly like our Christmas holidays. The guy who hollered the loudest won the arguments. Even if he was wrong, the loudest guy wins the argument. Don't you guys know that? I know we got a lot of South Philly people in here. I'm saying, don't you understand that? This is not about facts. It's the guy who hollers the loudest. Someone goes, Sills, why do you holler? Because I want to win the argument. Why you always win? Fly! Bingo! 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 Sills, you're not right. Yeah, I am. I'm the loudest. Oh. How funny. Big Sills is like your friend you always argue with. You can't wait to have a beer with. Amen. Corona too, boy. I know I'm more of an aristocratic Italian nowadays. Back in the day, I drank Ballantine and all that shitty beer my grandfather had in his basement. Ballantine, what was the other one? Rheingold. We had Rheingold. We had Ballantine beer. I used to like the Ballantine because it used to be on the outfield wall of Yankee Stadium. I go, look, that's Ballantine beer. My pop drinks it. You never win, Sills. You're always wrong. Michael. See? And the Schlitz, I don't think we drank too much Schlitz of that. Schaefer beer. We drank Schaefer beer, Rheingold, Ballantine. Those were the 3 beers in my grandpa's basement. Now, we didn't do Old D. Hey, Fly, I didn't do Old D until I got to college. You know what I'm saying? Jerome goes like this. Hey, you ever had a 45? I'm like, a what? You ever had a 40? I go, what? Colt 45? Old D? You ever had that? Hammered. Drinking 40s with Jerome. I'm like, what am I doing? Schmitz in Philly. Ballantine had 3 circles, right? Yeah, that's right. That's right. MVP race. Let's take a look at it. As I tell you, I have a vote. Here are my 10 guys going into week 16. And I am going to put some addendums on this because of Hurts is, let's not say injury. Let's say status. Is that fair? Are you guys cool with this? Let's not say injury yet. Let's say status for Saturday's game. Fair? Okay? I think status is more of an appropriate way of addressing Jalen until we know more. I think this is going to be a game time decision. I doubt he plays, okay, only because it's a Saturday game. I think if he had another day's rest, he might play. Okay? 10. I think Tagovailoa's put a lot of numbers up. I think he's been spotty the last month. I thought he played really well against Josh Allen. There's too many weapons on that Dolphins team. I'm going to put Tagovailoa 10th. I think you probably will be shocked, and maybe some of you won't agree with it. At 9, I've got Christian McCaffrey. Now, follow me here on McCaffrey. Do you not agree? When Trey Lance was running the team and they lost to Chicago early in the year, versus since the Niners have added McCaffrey, has that not been a different Niner team? Since the health of the Niners and the addition of McCaffrey, have they not been different? I think Christian McCaffrey has brought a different element to the Niners. They look like, even with Deebo Samuel being injured. Okay? Fly, the only problem is, Xander said this too. Bro, you got to be concerned about this a little bit here when it comes to the health of this kid. But I see why Howie wanted him. Number 8, I got Tyreek Hill. You know why he's not higher? He doesn't really have a lot of touchdowns. But he's been a force for that Dolphin team. Number 7, the ultimate trash can fire starter, Kirk Cousins. Boy, in that game against the Colts, it had to be the worst half of football in his professional career. Then he turns around. Do you know that Kirk Cousins threw for 400 yards in the second half alone? He threw for 400 yards and a half. I'm supposed to go like this with Cousins. Watch this. Here's another paradox of a guy. Okay, is he good? I don't know. You look at the numbers, you go, shit. Then you watch him play and you go, shit. Yeah. Dude, I know, man. Hey, watch this. Well, the guy's going to throw for like another 4,500. And then you walk away and you go, yeah, but would you want him as your quarterback leading your team? I don't know. Number 6. Xander hates this guy. I love Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert reminds me of Dan Marino. I think this guy's got a tremendous arm. I think he's just got that organization. It's the Spanoses. You got to remember that. You talk about poor decision-making management-wise. They got a history of it. They got a history of it, the Spanoses. I love Justin Herbert, man. I think this kid's going to be a star. Get a better coach in there, he'll be all good, man. I'm starting to like him. He might be surrounded by doorknobs. That's Sanders' take. See, that's a good sidekick right there. Using doorknobs, tremendous. Tremendous. And especially when Junior pulled it on me. Hey, sit down, get a pen, piece of paper, Sills. I'll help you out. I'm like, hey. Now we're at 5. I'm going to call this guy the Howie Roseman guy. Justin Jefferson. I got him at 5. 2 Vikings in the top 10. Pretty crazy. Actually, 2 Dolphins also in the top 10. So I got 2 at 10, McCaffrey at 9, Tyreek Hill at 8, Cousins at 7, Justin Herbert at 6, and Justin Jefferson at 5. Here are your top 4 MVPs heading into Week 16. Look at Razor Sills. You know, talking shit on Jalen. When's Herbert get to the playoffs? Hey, look at you now. Hey, sit down, Sills. I got a piece of paper and a pen. I want to help you out, Junior. Okay, relax. I got you. I got Josh Allen number 4. Some of you'd go, Sills, I thought you'd have Allen higher after what he did in that game on Saturday versus Miami. Yeah. I think 4 is appropriate. He's got the number 1 seed in the AFC right now. That could still, by the way, I think these 4 guys are all dead heat. Allen probably the outlier. I think these 3 guys are in a dead heat coming down the backstretch at Belmont. I think you got these 3 guys coming down, and it's going to be the best jockey, team, whatever, that gets you to the finish line here. The final stretch at Belmont here. Here we are. We're at the final stretch at Belmont. This is for the MVP. I got Joe Burrow number 3. And massively, he's been the best quarterback the last 7 weeks. Started the team out 0-2. And he's been on fire. He has been on fire. Now, look. I got Jalen Hurts at 2. Not because he played bad. And not because of the question about Saturday's availability and his status. But if you flipped a coin right now and went Burrow, Hurts, Mahomes, MVP, who would you take, Sills? And if it landed on Burrow, Hurts, or Mahomes, would you have a problem with any one of those guys winning it? Heading into Week 16, no. I got Mahomes 1. Okay? But it is like, it's a dead heat. You could, how about this? How about I do this? 1, 1, 1. Okay? We got 3 1s. Mahomes, Hurts, Burrow. Allen 4. Justin Jefferson 5. How about we do that? Make it fair. Because 2 is a disrespect to the kid. I thought he played okay in Chicago. I don't think he did anything to hurt himself. I think the coaches sucked. Okay? However, if he doesn't play, I don't see how he wins it. Like Wentz missed those 2 games at the end of the 7th. Can I tell you this? I was one of the very few national guys back then that went like this. I don't think Wentz should have lost the MVP award that year. He didn't play 2 games? I don't know. I thought he put up a great season. I didn't think Wentz deserved to lose the MVP. How many of you didn't think Wentz deserved to lose the MVP that year? You may hate the guy now, but I'm talking about the Eagle player in 17 that helped and was part of the team winning the Super Bowl. Did you guys think that Wentz deserved to lose the MVP because he got hurt in Los Angeles? I didn't think he did. I thought he had a good enough season to win the most valuable player. I think Carson Wentz should have won the most valuable player award that year. All right, let me take a timeout. Small recap on Week 15. It's kind of past its time here a little bit, but I do want to hit on some of the significant games, not the shit games. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Guys, you've been great. Appreciate it. Hey, by the way, Jalen Hurts, coming off that Chicago game, has done more to affirm to me how smart he is in spite of his dumbass coaches. You know how people give Brady 90% or 70% of the credit with Belichick in New England? It's kind of what this is here. All right, hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messon Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messon Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.
Post-game show with Seth Joyner.
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn.
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney.
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
And Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Post-game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Number 1, Jeff D'Ambrosio. Destination Downingtown is rolling back prices for a December to remember. For a limited time, you can own, not lease, brand new 2023 Jeep Wranglers for only $30,995 or $339 per month. New Rams starting at only $30,995 or new Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs $189 per month. Zero down can deliver. Get the price you want, the selection you need, and the VIP treatment you deserve. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Big Finish Sales Event.
Did you know taxes could be your biggest expense during retirement? Are most of your assets in tax-deferred accounts like IRAs and 401ks? Taxes are historically low today, but we're facing significant headwinds in the future. Do you have a plan? The Thrive Financial team has more than 100 years of experience helping people across the Delaware Valley with forward-looking tax planning. Learn how to shift your money from forever tax to no or low tax accounts. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.
Sales National Football Show. How you doing? Hassan! Woo! Outplaying Micah Parsons. I'm wrong. He's a better, more complete player than you. But pass rushing wise, Reddick is more consistent. Yeah. He's more consistent. But it's tough to figure him out because you know why? Hassan Reddick's game has picked up since Sue and Joseph have come in. And he's not been relied on to have to make tackles. Just pressure the quarterback. That's what if I was Hassan Reddick from now on, if I'm looking for a team, I always want to play on the team that had really good interior tackles because when he was in Arizona and in Carolina, they didn't, or they did actually. And that's why his numbers were productive. But I don't think they really knew how to use them. Okay? 85, thank you, brother. Sills, he is the bus driver running over the quarterback. Hey, dude. Hey, oh my God, man. If I played on that Eagle team and Dak Prescott was there and after Michael Parsons opened up his fly trap, I'd want to kick that guy's ass. Oh, totally. I would take shots at him. Hey, it's late. It's late 93. Really? If you're under some guys that I played fair, you'd be crazy because it's one thing I get on my daughter. She's like, Dad, I don't have to play with that animal instinct. And I'm like, it wasn't an ant. She goes, yes, it is, because you think you have to rip everyone's larynx out. My wife is sitting there because my wife believes in ripping the larynxes out too. Right? And so I'm sitting there and I have to, because when you're a dad, you don't want to get in an argument over stupid shit, right? Especially during the holidays. She goes, I don't have to play like that. And I'm like, so my wife comes downstairs the other night and she goes like this, like, me and you play like that. And I go, hey, man, I'm going to rip that guy's eyeballs out of his head. I don't give a shit what it is. Hey, if I could pull this up, I don't know if you guys ever seen The Last of the Mohegans. When that guy pulled that guy's heart out of his chest, that's exactly what I'd like to do to Dak Prescott. and people go, you see, when you do that on radio, oh my God, he wants to kill somebody. And you're like, it's a metaphor, dog. Relax. But you got to think like that. I had a rant years ago, and I stick him in the knife, kick him in the ball. Oh my God. If you ever see Last of the Mohegans, that guy, that English general, man, that guy pulled his heart out of his chest. I'm like, that is awesome. That's how you end the game. Hey, you know how Concrete ended that game? With Gifford knocked out and prone and laid on the field there, and the championship game was over. You reach down and you pull that heart out of Dak Prescott's chest, and you go, game! That's how I want to end the game. Oh. Next life skills, hockey player. Let's see. I'd want to be Bob Probert, except for the drugs. Hey, I want to be Schultz or Probert. Is that fair? Without the drugs. Okay? I think Dave Schultz, doesn't he own like a security business in Philly? Doesn't Dave Schultz own like a security business in Philadelphia? I think he does own a security business. You know who follows me on Twitter? Bernie Perrant. Bernie watches the show, man. He goes, Tortorella, better get it going. I'm like, I got it. He told me he's good. I'm like, I got it. He is. Give him a chance. Hey. Yeah, Bernie Perrant, he follows me on Twitter, man, and he's got his 2 championship Flyer rings. I'm like, oh my God. See, to me, can I say this to you guys? Sorry, man. See, I'm an old hockey guy, but those Flyers teams are your greatest teams in the history of Philadelphia sports. They are. They're your greatest team of all time. You know why? Because the NHL changed the game because those guys were so nasty and so ornery. Hey, why are the NHL changing the rules? Well, because the Flyers are beating everyone up, and we can't have that. What do you mean? Yeah, we can't have the Flyers dropping gloves at the start of the game, kicking everyone's ass, and winning 1-0. Dino Ciccarelli, man, I'm friends with that. It probably doesn't shock you that one of my dearest friends is Ty Domi. Okay. One of my dearest friends is Ty Domi. I love Ty Domi. Oh my God, we have Paisan, you know? Yeah, I love Ty Domi, man. Hey, I was at the game when he squirted the dude in the face with the water bottle. That was in Tampa, right? He was in the penalty box. I go down into, I think it was the Maple Leafs. I go down into the Maple Leafs locker room, and he's sitting in there, and he goes, I go, no, you got him good. He goes, shit, man, I'm going to get fined. I think he got 10 games for that. I think he got 10 games for that, man. Oh, man, I love Ty Domi. Yeah. Hey, EQ goes, I dated a girl that was related to a Flyer. Hey, you should see some of the people that call like me. Hey, Dan, you know, we'd like to have your daughter do some stuff here in Phoenix. And yeah, this is like the Cardinals. Yeah, all right. We just wanted to call. And my daughter goes, my dad intimidates everybody. Okay. He's just a very intimidating guy. Just being like when my daughter brings like a guy friend around, I'll always make sure I do this. I know the guy's name is Rob or something like that. I forget whatever the hell. Because Dad, and I go, how you doing, Stan? My daughter will go, you know, it's Rob. And the guy will go, Mr. Sileo. I'm going like, it's okay, kid. It's all right. I never look him in the face to him. Yeah, it's all right, kid. Don't worry. My daughter hates bringing anybody home. He just hates bringing any. She's like this. Dad, this is my friend. Hey, don't, kid. Mr. Sileo, yeah, okay, it's great. Don't whatever she wants to do. My daughter will start doing. He's a jerk. And I go, no. I looked him up on the internet. And there's a story he threw someone out a window. Yeah, it's true. My daughter looks over at me and I go, why would you tell him that? Your father threw a guy out of a window? Yeah, it was a first story window. My daughter's now telling, yeah, it was a first story window and it was in a snowdrift. The guy's going like this. Yeah, so make sure yes, Mr. Sileo, 9:30 exact. The guy's got her home. It was really privileged. Yeah, okay. Did your dad like me? Who cares if he liked you? Yeah. Oh, man. Hey, guys, you guys have been awesome. Thank you so much. Don't sweat this, man. Let's use this. Let's use the word status when it comes to Jalen. Let's use status. Okay? Keep everybody on their toes when you do that. Let's use status. All right? Hopefully you're getting your Christmas shopping done. It's a great time of the year. Make sure you tell somebody you love them. Okay? It's important, especially this time of the year. Not everybody, but the ones close to you. Xander, great job as always. God bless everyone. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 to 6 Eastern. We'll catch you on the flip side.